You're listening to the Market Update with Moneyweb, brought to you by the Right Choice Investment from Discovery Invest. And this technology, media and telecommunications report is brought to you by Vox Telecom, South Africa's leading alternative telco. Pieter Uys, Chief Executive of Vodacom, in the studio with us. Peter, I've just been watching on Bloomberg Television Mark Mobius, who's in fact in town today, the man from Templeton, saying that the place to put your money is in companies like the cell phone businesses in emerging markets, i.e. Vodacom. You can't quite do it yet. You haven't listed yet, because he says that things are continuing to boom there. Is that the reality? You just brought your results out today, which we can talk about in a moment, but just from a broader perspective.
I think you have to look at the bigger picture. There's definitely an economic turndown at the moment, but not in all of the subscribers, not in all of our markets. If you look at, and we segment our market, if you look at the contract base, yes, people do tend to spend a little bit less. Traditionally, when they buy a bundle of minutes, they would spend the bundle early in the month and then go outside the bundle and spend more. These days, what we find is that they control their bundle spend much more across the month and tend to not go out of the bundle. On the prepaid side, it's a little bit different. We've seen the ARPUs actually go up on the prepaid side. Prepaid subscribers, the telephone has really become a part of their lives. It's become a tool in empowering them. So even in these difficult times, they need something to empower them, to make them part of the economy.
Peter, does it also tell us that perhaps at that level in the market, and maybe this is where David Sussman is focusing his attention, that it's not quite as bad there, or not being as hard hit as maybe richer people?
I think definitely so, because if you look at the prepaid market, we've also now introduced a five rand voucher, recharge voucher, and the uptake has just been phenomenal. So it shows that people, when they have the money to spend, they would first recharge. I think we've always said that we have to make sure that our recharge vouchers are cheaper than a beer, and the 5 rand vouchers really works for us.
Particularly for people like David Shapiro. The growth strategy, though, is, I suppose, predicated a lot on this timing now. Where do you go from here? The deal has been done between Telkom and Vodafone. You're now going to be punching, or you're in the ring with Telkom already. There's no doubt about that. But when is the next big step, the listing?
I think, first of all, Vodafone is not a new shareholder. They've always been a shareholder, but the difficulty has been the two shareholders and us in Africa specifically, and also South Africa, competing more and more with Telkom. When we took things to the boardroom, it was difficult for them to apply their minds to the Vodacom business case. Now that will change dramatically, but it's not. Listing will happen middle of next year. We've started work, but it'll take a couple of months. So anything from April to middle of next year, we'll see the listing. But where the growth for Vodacom is going to come from, I see ourselves become a total communications company. We now see that ICASA is going to issue the additional licenses. I don't think there will be hundreds of them. I don't think we can afford to have hundreds of competitors. But competition is good. Just from us unbundling from Telkom creates more competition. And competition is always good for consumers, for business. So there are a lot of positive spin-offs, indirect and direct, coming from this.
What is it going to do to your profit margins, though, all this competition?
To really compete at the level that we've been building networks, it's going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So the competition at that level will be limited to 5 to 10 players. But at the service provision level, there will be many more competitors. So if we can work with some of those new entrants into the market, there will also be wholesale benefits to us. So I think there's win and there's lose, but also the new competition creates opportunities for us. And we've already started executing on that strategy. Earlier this year, we launched Vodacom Business, and
how's that going?
We've now, the last missing piece in the puzzle we launched last week. We built a 100 million rand data center. We showed that to the media last week. It's really state of the art. It's a class 4 data center. Now we've also announced a StoreTech acquisition, which will give us 51% in StoreTech to give us the hosting services, both at the customer's premises, but also in-house.
So that's taking on Telkom and Internet Solutions and people who've had the market pretty much to themselves.
Yes. So what we're trying to do is do more than what they've been doing. We not just want to copy them. That's why the data center that we've built is really state of the class. It's the world class. It's the best in breed. To really go to the corporate and say to them, you don't have to go to all these hundreds of new competitors. We can offer you all of those services. But if we were just sitting still and riding the GSM wave till there's no more, we would have been caught short.
Has the deal between Vodafone and Telkom, with Telkom now becoming a competitor, unleashed new energy within your company?
Vodafone, they are the biggest mobile company, so staff's been very positive about it. They are now going to be part of a global player. it's also good for us in the African continent. The players that we are competing against, the Zanes and the MTNs, they are big international players. So suddenly we catapulted from just being a smallish player in Africa to be part of a big player. So the acceptance by staff has been very positive.
Pieter Uys, Chief Executive of Vodacom, and I guess those people who are long of MTN should be watching this space.